Committee. I'd like to call the January 5th, 2023 Awards meeting to order. We have a physical quorum represented by Ricky Erickson, Haibu, and myself. We also have Mark Stoltz representing Laura Shepis and Joe Orfano joining us online. The Office of General Counsel is represented by Rebecca Levy. Budget is represented by Stephanie Neely. And before we begin reviewing today's agenda, I'll ask, hold on a second. I'm just confirming that nobody is physically present for public comment. Victoria, did you receive any public comment via email?
No.
All right, let the record show we did not receive any public comment. I'll pause for a moment to allow callers joining us online to unmute and speak up. Hearing no comments, we'll proceed with today's regular agenda. We have items 1 and 2 and 4 through 14 that have been reviewed by Procurement and Budget. These items are now ready to be reviewed by the Awards Committee. Note that award item 3 has been deferred. Beginning with item 1, representing the minutes from December 15, 2022 Awards Committee meeting, are there any comments or corrections to be discussed? All right. May I get a motion to approve award item 1?
I so moved.
And a second?
Ricky, second.
Ricky beat you there, Joe. We have a motion from Haibu, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Fire.
All those opposed? Minutes are approved as presented. I'll pass it over to Jenny McCollum, our Chief Procurement Officer, to present each of the remaining items before I ask for a motion, beginning with item 2.
Thank you, through the chair. Before we get started, just for the crew that's waiting in the wings to answer any questions, once your award or awards are completed, you guys can drop off if the committee approves and you don't have any other questions to answer. Award number 2 is an invitation for bid. This is for Arlington East. This is for the warehouse. It includes the construction of a 3,600 square foot warehouse, new asphalt, pavement driveway, the required drainage and stormwater improvements needed to accommodate the new parking and warehouse. Breaking Ground Contracting Company is our recommended awardee in the amount of $1,169,965. We expect this project to be completed in August of 2023. I'll note that Breaking Ground is a JEA, so that is wonderful. And we received 3 bids. They were the lowest bid. I'll just note that the bid came in approximately 50% higher than the business estimate. The increase is attributed primarily due to the project estimate being completed prior to the engineering design, which began in January of 2022. The City of Jacksonville requirements being added during the permitting process has added some, and then also material price escalation since January of 2022. So and then the award amount also includes about $100,000 in just a supplemental work allowance in case any issues come up. So that is where you see the difference in the amount of what they originally bid to the award amount. Any questions, comments?
Hey, this is Will online. Have you had any experience with Breaking Ground? I'm not familiar with that company. I'm familiar with Mary. I was wondering if they've had any experience working with JEA in our requirements.
Yes, they have. I haven't worked with them myself. There have been other departments throughout JEA that have used them. I believe Jennifer Bachmeister's used them as well. And I have received nothing but high praise from all entities inside of JEA and outside. There haven't been any problems noted.
That's great to hear. Thank you, Will.
Any other questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 2?
Orfano, so moved.
We have a motion from Joe Orfano, a second from Mark Stoltz. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 4.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 4 is a joint project. This is with the city of Jacksonville, and it's the Harts Road Bridge replacement. JEA has existing water and sewer mains along Harts Road and on the bridge over Broward River. JEA will need to relocate some of the existing utilities as well as install new utilities to avoid conflicts with COJ's new piles for the bridge support. STV Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $199,782.63. This is the engineering portion of the work, but the project is expected to be completed in December of 2025. So I believe that's through construction. STV Inc. was selected by COJ through their normal RFQ process and is the engineer of record for this project. They will perform both COJ and JEA design work. So we have one single point of responsibility for the design. We will also be coming back to the committee once COJ bids out the construction portion, which will also include JEA's utility construction work. When we look at the bid estimate prior to going to bid, we're approximately 8% lower than the estimate. And that's the gist of this one. Do you guys have any questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 4?
I boo so moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Haibu, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 5.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 5 is a contract renewal. This is for pipe bursting contract. This includes the providing trenchless rehabilitation to the gravity sewer and water system through the pipe bursting method. Work is to be performed throughout the JEA service territory. Murphy Pipeline Contractors, LLC is our recommended awardee in the amount of $4,200,000. This takes us through January 17th of 2024. We still have one renewal remaining, so this will be our 4th year working with them. So this will be our first renewal. And unit price, as a note, unit price increase has been allowed for this renewal period per the contract. And JEA compared the new unit prices to recent bids, and just to, do a check for that and other municipal utilities in Florida, and the new unit prices were deemed reasonable. Any questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 5?
I boo so moved.
And
Joe
second.
Orfano, second.
We have a motion from Haibu, a second from Joe Orfano. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 6.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 6 is a contract increase. This is engineering services for the Rivertown Water Treatment Plant project. CD & Smith Inc. is our recommended awardee, and the award amount is $29,025. This is expected to be completed in November of 2023. Just a little bit of background, originally approved by the awards committee in April of 2019, a little over $2 million. We've had multiple administrative increases, which are outlined in the table in the award. Originally, construction for the new Rivertown water treatment plant was to be substantially complete in January this month of 2023, but it has been delayed due to raw materials and equipment unavailability. So this delay will cause the plant to not be operational during the typical high water demand season. So to ensure water availability in this service area, JEA has developed an interim plan to increase pressure and flow until the plant is fully operational. So for the interim plan to proceed, JEA must submit modified permits to FDEP in St. Johns County. So there's a list of tasks that CDM will complete that is covered by the $29,000 to move us in that direction. Any questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 6?
So moved. Mark Stoltz. Joe
And
Arpano, second.
We have a motion from Mark Stoltz, a second from Joe Arpano. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 7.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 7 is a contract renewal. This is for our vegetation management. Trees Inc. is our recommended awardee in the amount of $6,425,000. This will take us through our last, or the only renewal that we have, so we've none remaining. And we plan to start the new bid process in about August of this year. But this will cover us through this one-year renewal. It's O&M and capital projects. The original award amount, we typically will do based off historical usage and budget estimates at the time of the award. This contract price adjustments have been requested by the supplier and will be implemented as part of this renewal execution. Any questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 7?
Ricky, so moved.
And a second?
Hai Vu, second.
We have a motion from Ricky Erickson, second from Hai Vu. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 8.
Thank you. Through the chair, this is an invitation for bid. These are well services, repair and maintenance. Some of the scope tasks could be, but not limited to, emergency mobilization, well pump repairs, removal and installation of well pumps, et cetera. We've got a list of in the scope of work. We've got 2 recommended awardees, Complete Services Well Drilling, Inc. in the amount of $500,000, and AC Schultz of Florida doing business as Road Drilling in the amount of $100,000. This is a 3-year award with 2 one-year optional renewals. We received only 2 bids here. We did hold a second pre-bid meeting to try to increase competition, but that we were unsuccessful. The purpose of this solicitation is to award a primary, but to have a secondary contractor as well. And these contracts, having these contracts in place will expedite these well repairs, bringing the critical water supply components back to service in the shortest time possible. The basis of award with the primary and the secondary for this contract is an 80-20 split. However, work may be assigned, and that 80-20 is based off of the lowest bidder getting the majority of the work, but the work may also be assigned on basis of performance expertise. If the primary can't perform, we can go to the secondary. It just gives us that flexibility. Any questions or comments? Wonderful. Before I pass it back to the chair, can I ask that everyone is muted on the line? I'm getting some feedback on my side. All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote. Thanks.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 8?
Hai Vu, so moved.
And a second?
Ricky, second.
We have a motion from Ivu, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 9.
Thank you through the chair. Award number 9 is a contract increase. This is something that you guys might remember. This was back in August. We brought, this is for electric plant fire protection system inspection, testing and maintenance services. And so we brought this to the committee back in August as we terminated a contract for default for one of the companies that we had originally awarded the contract to. And so this is to reduce that amount from their contract and add it to the awardee that is going to continue to do the work for us. So that recommended awardee is IMC Fire Protection LLC. This takes us through just the original term is the end of April of 2024. And just a little reminder, so we had the original award was to Aegis Fire and Integrated Services LLC and IMC with a 70-30 split. But Aegis was acquired by Summit Fire and Security back in September of 2021, and they just weren't performing well, which is why we ended up terminating for default. Many issues. And so we are intending to move forward with IMC. We explained back in August that they've been performing well. They actually took on additional duties, did that, seamlessly. And so we feel comfortable with them doing all of the work for the remainder of the contract. So this will move the remaining funds over to IMC. And if there's any other, contract adjustments that need to come before the awards committee between now and the term of the contract expiring, we will bring it back to the committee, but we think this should be suffice for now. Questions, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 9?
So moved.
And a second?
Joe Arpaio, second.
We have a motion from Mark Stoltz, a second from Joe Arpaio. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 10.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 10 is a contract amendment. This is for our JEA heavy duty vehicle procurements. You guys have seen this before, and this is actually a big win from our standpoint. I'll get into the details a little bit later, but the actual amendment to this contract is for 6 additional dump trucks for FY24. So we've got 4 dump trucks for water expansion, and we've got 2 dump trucks that are being bought for the electric replacement, all within the FY24 budget. Orlando Freightliner is our recommended awardee in the amount of $1,014,174. We expect these vehicles to be here June of 2024. And I'll just note that Fleet had budgeted about $182,000 per truck based on average increases of about 13% that we've been seeing over the last 2 years. Orlando Freightliner offered us slots to build these trucks in Q4 of FY23 with the price increase of only 3%. So we wanted to take advantage of that and jump on this opportunity to grab those slots, which is why we're asking the committee to approve a contract amendment versus going to bid. Any questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 10?
Ivu, so moved.
And a second?
Ricky, second.
We have a motion from Ivu, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 11.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 11 is a request for proposal. And this is for 2 transformers for the Eagle substation. Prolec GE is our recommended awardee. We've got the amount of $3,424,480. We've got 2 transformers coming. We expect this project to be completed at the end of May or mid-May of 2025. I'll note that the transformers are coming in phases. So we've got a shorter lead time for the first one, and then the next one will come after that. So we're not waiting the whole time to receive both of those. We did receive 3 proposals, and we evaluated it based off of an evaluated price, which takes into account the load losses and the lead times, which are important for this project. The load losses are determined by the equipment designer and inputted into the cost of ownership calculation, and the lead time calculation this time was based on the supplier lead time and a $20,000 price impact penalty per month of lead time greater than 20 months. So this was used to arrive at the evaluated price. And I'll just note, as typical for these, you've seen this in the past, the price adjustments based on market indices that we have attached to these is about 50% of the price. So the price can be adjusted through the release to manufacturer based off of those indices. Any questions or comments on this one?
Joe, just a comment for the folks that have been involved with this. I'm aware it's a very quickly developing project, and kudos for everybody involved to get this before awards committee right after the holidays.
Thanks, Joe. Any other comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 11?
Joe Orfano, so move.
Ricky, second.
We have a motion from Joe Orfano, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 12.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 12 is a contract increase. This is our GE long-term service agreement. So we refer to that as LTSA, and this is for inspection, maintenance, and repair services at, or for JEA's fleet of GE combustion turbine at Brandy Branch, Kennedy, and Greenland. So General Electric International is our recommended awardee in the amount of $43,153,955.12. This contract goes through December of 2028. So we try to negotiate these in large sections in large terms to try to lock in and get some negotiations with GE since they are a single source. We've been doing this since June of 2000, so quite a long-term relationship with them. And this will allow us continued use to support planned inspections and outage support through the term. Overhauls, I'll just note overhauls and major repair work is not included in this increase. And so if anything comes up or we need to come back to the awards committee, we certainly, will do that. This is just what we know today, that's planned through 2028. So there could be additional awards that you guys see going forward with a long term like this. And I'll ask the business if you guys want to add anything else.
Hey, this is Roger. I'll just say something here for that part. There's probably a few projects that will come up in the next few years where there'll be some other capital improvements they'll need to come back to the awards committee for. But like I say, those will be just on a one-off basis due to inspections and things like that as we progress through the contract.
Thanks, Rodney.
Also on this, it also allows us quick turnaround if we have any unplanned or emergency outages where we need repair work done. We don't have to go through any bidding or award process. We can go straight to GE for getting the units back online quickly and reliably.
Thanks, Keith. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 12?
Ricky, so moved.
In a second.
Hi, Boo, second.
We have a motion from Ricky Erickson and a second from Hai Vu. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present award item 13.
Thank you. Through the chair, award number 13 is an emergency. This is limestone crushing services. The scope of work is to process up to 100,000 tons of oversized limestone using temporary crusher plant and material handling equipment. The oversized limestone will be moved from the JEA storage building to the processing plant. It'll be processed and then returned to our storage building. JEA estimates that this will take about 4 months to process that amount. And so that is where you see the project completion date. We've given ourselves some flexibility through June of 2023. But as a project completion, if we need more time, we certainly can do that. The recommended awardee is RPM Solutions LLC in the amount of $860,000. Some backstory to this, JEA originally planned on renting the crushing equipment and using temporary labor contracts to support the manpower it needs to crush the limestone being shipped from an alternate source that we've had to move to. And this is due to the original vendor not being able to supply us limestone. So the group has done an amazing job finding other sources, but this is just part of what we've got to do to make it work for JEA. So we went to work spend, found that they could not acquire the manpower needed. In parallel, we talked to the GCs to acquire rates. They had the same issue as work spend. And so it became apparent that temporary labor was going to be an issue. So we started contacting these crushing services companies to support the need. We had 3 companies that we contacted, walked through. Of the 3, RPM was the most responsive. So we did get some competitive bids to evaluate, but we had to do it quickly, which is why this is an emergency. We didn't formally post or publicly post. So that is the reason why we're calling it emergency. Don't believe we have any ratification associated with it, but just needed to be able to move quickly. Any questions or comments?
Jenny, just a general comment to you and your team. You guys have faced many challenges over the last couple of years, and you guys have just consistently adapted and taken a creative approach to following the right processes, but supporting the business in a timely manner. So here's another example. So my thanks to you and your team.
Well, thank you. It was definitely a team effort. And finding the new vendors. I mean, the fuels group was an amazing partner, and we're just trying to help them get what they need. So appreciate that. Any other comments or questions? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you. May I get a motion to approve award item 13?
Orfano, so moved.
Hi, Boo, second.
We have a motion from Joe Orfano, a second from Hai Vu. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The motion is adopted. I'll pass it back to Jenny to present our final award item for today.
All right, thank you. Award number 14 is a contract increase, and this is a partial ratification. This is for our integrated resource planning for the electric generation planning, and the IRP shall provide a near-term and long-term strategic recommendation to JEA. So this is a partial ratification. We needed to issue the PO before the holidays to secure funding available to support the purchase order, and that was done in the amount of $634,396. So this increase is a little bit more than that. Black & Veatch Management Consulting is our recommended awardee, and the actual total increase is $701,356.80. We have an expected project completion of December of 2023, so about a year. And there is a list of services that will be covered with this increase to the contract. I'll note that the rates are fixed for the project completion of December 2023. And then I'm just going to ask Rodney to jump in real quick for me, just give a little bit more information about the ratification and why we did that early, if you don't mind.
Yeah, so they had, and maybe the business will want to help me out with this too, but initially we were intending to come back to the awards committee back in mid-December, early December, with the contract increase. But the business unit was working through some refinements in the scope of services to get the price and the red line of the contract right. So that slid into the holiday, but the intent was that we would have been here and initiated and kicked off the change in the services before the holidays. But we didn't want to wait until post-holiday to do the award of the purchase order. And then, obviously that would follow on and take a couple more weeks, and we didn't want to lose basically a month on the project. So we just went through and got approvals, went up through their management and got their approval to do the award and ratification. I mean, they had the budget, right? So the purchase order would approve, but we got their concurrence before we executed.
Thanks, Rodney. So we're calling it a ratification because we issued a PO before we came to the awards committee for approval. And it is, we tried to list out the amount of that PO prior to. So
right.
I believe the work has started.
Yep, we committed funds to a company before. Yep, sorry.
But as Rodney noted, before we agreed to do that, we had asked the business to go up through their chief for approval. Any questions or comments?
Hey, Jenny, it's Ricky. Just looking at the packet that we got, there's a lot of red lines in that particular documentation for this one. Is that the way y'all intended to have it?
As for the backup?
Yeah, backup documentation.
Yeah. If we've got a final version, Rodney, we should include that in the final awards packet. It shouldn't be the red line version. We'll look at that.
Sure.
Okay.
Any other thoughts, comments? All right, I'll pass it back to the chair for a vote.
Thank you, Jenny. May I get a motion to approve award item 14?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion from Mark Stoltz, a second from Ricky Erickson. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion is adopted. The entire agenda representing items 1 and 2 and 4 through 14 is approved for January 5th, 2023. Is there any other business to come before the awards committee at this time? All right, seeing none, we're adjourned. Happy New Year to everybody.
Thank you. You too.